Hello, I'm Stephen Lawrence and welcome to Paramount Perspective. You guys already read the title of the video. It is how to get straight A's. Now the reason why I wanted to make this video first is because it is the question that I get asked about the most from people who know me. And I've never really had the time to fully organize my thoughts and give a good, well thought out answer for people to follow. So that's exactly what I want to do here today. I want to give you guys good, practical, actionable steps that you can take to help better yourselves in school and improve your academic performance. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I will give a short background about myself. I grew up in Orlando, Florida my whole life, and I went to Lake Howell High School, and I graduated as the valedictorian of about 450 students-ish. And I played baseball in high school. I was also involved in multiple clubs. Very busy guy, but I still maintained my straight A's and I was able to perform very well in school. Currently, I attend the University of Florida studying mechanical engineering, and I'm a sophomore who has currently maintained a 4.0 GPA here as well. Now, the reason why I tell you this is not to brag about myself or my accomplishments. The reason why I'm telling you this is to let you know that you are getting content from a person who knows what he's talking about when it comes to improving academic performance and getting straight A's. And by the way, if you are looking at me right now and you do not believe yourself to be a person who is capable of achieving straight A's or improving their academic performance, I want to eradicate your self-doubt, okay? School and succeeding in school is not all about having the highest intelligence or having a super high off-the-charts IQ, okay? I, for one, do not have a super high off-the-charts IQ, and I have been able to perform consistently great in school throughout my whole life, and it is the way I attack it, and it is because I know certain things that I'm about to share with you in this video, okay? I fully believe that it is possible for most people to do exceptionally well in school and in life for that matter. Now, that I've given you that background, let me show you how to get straight A's to make your life a heck of a lot easier. Let's go. Alright, so before I get into the concrete steps that you can take to improve your performance, I want you to start looking at school differently. I want you to change your perspective on school. This is very important. The first thing I want you to do is start looking at school in a way that says, school is simple, not complex. School is not necessarily easy, but it is definitely simple. Let me explain, okay? For pretty much your whole life, you've been exposed to the same system, same pattern. You go to class, you learn the material. You do the homeworks, maybe some projects, and it concludes with an exam. It's been the same your whole life. So I want you to start realizing that if you get good at the pattern, you can therefore improve your performance at school. Stop getting confused by school. School, if anything, is definitely simple. All right, the second way that I want you to start looking at school differently is that school and success in school is all about personal effort and game plan. Like I said before, you do not have to have the highest IQ in order to perform well in school. The students that succeed the most in school are the ones who have great habits and they back those habits up with great personal effort. Step number one is to implement what is known as the chunking principle. Now, what the chunking principle says is that you want to grasp each topic fully before moving on to the next topic, and you want to take learning slow and day by day rather than cramming at the very end all at once before an exam. That is not the most effective way to learn, and I have learned that from personal experience. So let me get back into this chunking principle. What does it say? It says that you want to take each topic at a time and fully grasp it. So let's take Algebra 1 for example. At the very beginning of class and at the very beginning of the year, they're going to teach you the basics of the material. And hopefully by the end, you will have mastered the material enough to have learned it well. So in Algebra 1, say the first part is solving for x with the most basics of equations. You want to learn that fully so that you can move on to the harder equations later on in that year. You don't want to just cram all the information at once at the end. Even if you are a person who is capable of cramming, I would not recommend it because if you learn something fast, you will likely forget it fast. I have a personal story with this. So with US history in high school, I could read pretty quickly and I would cram for every single exam. I would spend time in the class, but I would cram for every single exam. And it turned out not well for me. While I did well in the class, I ended up doing poorly in terms of long-term memorization. I am sad to say that I do not know much of US history anymore, and I wish I did, but it is because I crammed. So I recommend the chunking principle to perform better in school. Learn step by step, fully grasp each topic before moving on so that you do not fall behind. Step number 2 would be tracking your time. All right, a lot of people out there use the excuse that there are simply not enough hours in the day for them to perform well at school or get straight A's. And my answer to that would be that you would be very surprised how much time there really is available if you took the effort to actually track your time and where your minutes went. As a student who has personally stretched the limits of time allotment, I can personally tell you that you can get way more done in your day than you currently think. What I want you to do is open up the Notes app on your phone and track your time and your activities for about a week. This should give you a good indicator of where you're spending your time and where you can possibly make your days more efficient. I'll give you a simple example about how most people can save about an hour of their time. Let's do some math. So say you check social media 12 times a day for 10 minutes apiece. While that may not seem like that much, that actually adds up to 120 minutes, which is 2 hours. So let's say you make the simple goal of cutting that in half, just checking your social media 6 times a day. You right then and there have cut off an hour, and you have saved an hour each day. This will give you more time to devote to school. You really want to track those minutes and make your days more efficient. Number 3 is implementing what is known as the Pomodoro technique. And this is a technique that I personally use almost every time I have to do homework and when I really need to focus and get something done. It works very well, and I'm going to break it down for you right now. It's basically a ratio of study time to break time. So basically it goes like this. The most common version is you study 25 minutes, and then after that you get 5 minutes of break time, and then you redo it again. So then 25 minutes on, 5 off, 25 on, 5 off, and then about every 4th time you get an extra long break. So maybe after you've done 3 cycles, then you can take a reward break of like 30 minutes. And this works very well. The rules for yourself are you can only drink water or do what's in front of you, your schoolwork, during the 25 minutes allotted time. And the way you do this is you set a 25-minute timer on your phone to go off, and then after that set a 5-minute timer for break. It's a great way to maintain your focus because you're not focusing for too long where you get burned out. You take that 5 minutes break, but it also is a great way to help you stick to a task and get it done to completion. So my next few steps are going to err more on the psychological side rather than on the technical and strategy side. And I really feel that these are the steps that are going to impact you and your performance at school the most. So listen carefully. Step number 4 is improving your why. You want to ask yourself, why do I want to perform better at school and learn more? Is it because you want more influence as a person and learning more will make you smarter, maybe have more influence among your peers and make you a better conversationalist? Is it because you simply want to learn more? That's great. Is it because you want to impress a job recruiter or maybe get accepted into that dream university of yours or maybe go to grad school? That's great too. Or maybe it is because you want to become the best version of yourself. You want to create habits of hard work and success now because you realize that those are going to transfer over into many other facets of your life. You want to become the best version of yourself and create a great self-image and great personal habit of hard work and success. Whatever your why may be, I want you to create a very compelling reason why you want to do very well in school. You want to start positively conditioning your brain to want success in school more and more because therefore you will actually be more likely to achieve it. So number 5 is link more pain. Just as you can condition your brain to want success in school more, you can also condition your brain to feel more pain when you do not act in ways that elicit academic success. In my opinion, this is actually more powerful than conditioning your brain to want success more, because most people, as a general principle, are going to respond more heavily to pain rather than pleasure. So I'm not going to get into many examples with this one because it's going to be different for everybody. But what you want to do is really think of the ways that not performing well in school is going to cost you in your life. And you actually are going to want to amplify your emotions in a negative way more on this one, even though that sounds kind of harsh. You want to really feel those negative emotions and start connecting that with not performing well in school. Because this is going to teach your brain that not performing well in school is going to cause pain in your life. And while it may sound harsh, it's a very profound and great way psychologically to get yourself to act in ways that you want. Number 6 is social circle. Or another way of saying that is positive peer pressure. Now, a lot of you probably think that's weird because you think of peer pressure in the negative sense, but it can also be very positive for your life, hence positive peer pressure. I'll explain. So many of you have heard the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Or another way of saying that is, you are the average of your 5 closest friends. Now, a lot of us have heard that quote, but not a lot of us take the time to really deeply consider that. You see, you are who you spend the most time with. So let me give you an example. Let's say all of your friends do not have a care in the world about doing well in school and they slack off. Let's pretend that that's your social group for a minute. what do you think that's going to do to you psychologically? Do you think that's going to motivate you more to perform better in school or less? What if you were hanging around all the smartest kids in the school, all the kids that put the most effort in school and who had the best routines and habits? What do you think that would do to you? Do you think that would give you some positive peer pressure to actually try to live up to higher standards and perform better yourself? You see, you want to have friends that are above you and that push you to be the best that you can be. And this is hard for most people because it makes them feel uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable being around people who are performing better than you. However, it's a very powerful way that you can start increasing your performance in any area. It doesn't have to just be school. Start implementing positive peer pressure in your life, and one step that you can take is just trying to add one friend that is doing better than you at school. Just try to become friends with that person. Take one easy step, and eventually start hanging around better kids. You don't have to ditch your old friends, but I would urge you to become friends with somebody who really has their stuff together when it comes to performing better in school. That will help push you to do the same. Number 7 is understanding that habits are paramount. In fact, habits are important for everything in life, not just school. But if you slowly start to increase and better your habits surrounding school, like how much you study, how much you pay attention in class, how much you don't cheat off your friends and just copy their homework assignments, or how much you ask for help instead of just sitting there in your seat in confusion, if you start slowly increasing your habits surrounding school, you are going to see drastic changes. Forget everything else I said. If you just increase your habits and better your habits, you are definitely going to see positive changes in your academic performance, and it's going to give you a better likelihood of getting straight A's. In fact, here's my personal academic success game plan. Here we go. Pay attention in class. Don't skip class. If you don't understand what was taught in class, either try to ask questions during class where the teacher is lecturing, or if you're still confused after class, make sure you get caught up by either reading the textbook or getting help outside of school so that you're not behind for the next class. That can really hurt you if you let that cycle repeat itself and you never ask for help. You can get really far behind, so don't do that. Also, make sure you do all those homework assignments. While they may seem tedious, there's a reason for them. They help nail in the material, they help you learn the material, and they're usually a good portion of your grade. All right. Also, study hard for quizzes, tests, exams, whatever type of examination and test may be thrown at you. And this should be easier now that you understand the material day by day using the chunking tactic, because you should just be reviewing material that you have already learned rather than learning it all for the first time. It should be just a review. So that should make it easier for you. And then lastly, I would suggest being in great mental and physical health by eating right, sleeping right, and exercising enough. If you do those things, I guarantee you that you will start performing better in school and you will see drastic changes. So as a recap, I've given you a more clear-cut way to view school. Remember, it's all about patterns, it's very simple, and it's all about personal effort and personal game plan. Okay, I've also given you 7 good steps on how to actively improve your performance at school, and in addition, I finished up with my personal academic success game plan. All right, now I know this is a lot of information thrown at you, so what I would suggest is to just pick 1 or 2 things to start focusing on, and then once you have a good grasp of those, then move on to the next. Personally, the 2 that I would focus on first are habit formation and maybe following my personal academic success game plan. Focus on those 2 because I feel that they are the most important, and these will likely give you most of what you need to succeed in school. So I'll end with this. Performing better at school is not all about GPA. In fact, GPA doesn't mean that much in the grand scheme of life. It's not that significant. However, improving your academic performance and trying to get straight A's is going to help you in many other areas. It's going to make you better at learning. It's going to give you more knowledge about time allocation, efficiency, and organization to help you become a more highly effective person. It's going to give you more self-respect and influence among your peers. And lastly, and most importantly, it's going to likely make you happier, because why wouldn't it? Success is going to make you a happier person if you're working hard for it and you finally are able to achieve it. Okay, so pick 1 or 2 of the things I mentioned today, get to work on them, because your life isn't going to change if your actions stay the same.